And for our application, we have 66 out of 100, which is the same thing as 66 hundredths, which is the same thing as 66%. So just knowing this, if I gave you a number like 66, would you know how to convert that to a percent? Would you know how to convert this to a fraction? That's what we're going to be getting to after we're done all of our calendar math through the 100 days. If I write one of these, would you know how to write this one? And if I wrote this one, would you know how to write this one? These should now be at the point where they are so interchangeable. You've seen this now for 66 days in a row. You would really know, oh, if I see a 66%, I could change it to a decimal. But anyway, going back to our application, we want to put this into simplest form. And I know I do that because both of these are even numbers. Both these numbers end in a 2, 4, 6, 8, or a 0. So I just cut them in half. That's how my brain works. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 66 divided by 2 is 33, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. Now, I know that 33 does not have a factor that goes into 50 because the only factor is 11 and 3, which is not a factor of 50. So I know if I cut this in half, my marker's going bad. If I cut this in half and I have 10, 20, 33, this amount right here, 33 out of 50, could be the same value or the same ratio as 66 out of 100. And if you're not sure if that's the case, remember, we haven't done this in a while. Let's take our 33. Remember, 33 50ths. We always said that this line right here is the same thing as the line in a division problem. The dot here and the dot here represent these numbers. So every fraction is a division problem. So if I say 33 divided by 50. See if I can have another marker here. 33 divided by 50. Well, 50 cannot go into 33, so I have to cut it up into 100 pieces. Well, how do I cut up 33 into 100 pieces so I can divide it? Well, I add my decimal point and my 2 zeros. That's why when we were going on earlier, how a number that has a decimal, how it can be converted to a percent, that's how, because we add our decimal point and add our 2 place values over. That's what the percent is representing. Well, how many times does 50 go into 3? Oh, that would be none. How many times does 50 go into 30? That would be none. How many times does 50 go into 300? That would, oh, don't forget our bubble, the bottom of the water rising, bloop, 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 goes straight up. So how many times does 50 go into 330? Well, it goes 6 times. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, and now I have 30. 50 can't go into 30, so I have to bring down my next place value. So 50 goes into 300 6 times, and there we go. That's where we get our 66. That's why fractions, percents, and decimals are all interrelated. They all mean the same thing. And we use these for a variety of reasons. I'd use percent for one type of problem. I would use decimals for multiplying. I would use the fractions for other problems that have fractions in them. So all of these have their places. It's just in 5th grade we want you to get to understand right now that they all mean the same thing. And then in 6th and 7th grade, you will be able to use these at a much greater efficiency and knowing why they need to be interchanged. But for right now, just I want you to know that percents, fractions, and decimals all mean the same thing. They're just written a different way for a different mathematical purpose.